right, hello everybody. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. We're on the downhill slide. We're almost there. A couple more weeks. Summer is just over the horizon. I know we're all kind of ready for this. This was quite a year. So in kind of focusing on that, we're going to talk a little bit today about getting your accounts, etc., ready for the summer. If you want to set up a vacation responder, or if you want to set up transfer some data over, or that kind of stuff, that's what we're going to go over. I have been adding, and I'm going to do it again here, an attendance form. I didn't start this beginning of the year because I didn't think of it, honestly, but I'll start doing attendance. And so as we keep going through this next year, I will have that along. So if you need at some point to kind of, show your hours for being here for CEUs or whatever, we can do that. Also, speaking of next year, I am planning on continuing to do this next year, even though we probably won't have the Wednesdays like we have had this year, obviously. That's hopefully. But I'd like to get more students involved, and not just my, the kids at the high school, the broadcasting kids, but to kind of really highlight other classes and other students and other teachers around the district. So look for us for next year. We'll plan on being able to do what we're doing here. It might be Wednesdays, it might be after school or whatever, do a live event, but have more students involved and have them be kind of part of this whole thing. I think it's a great opportunity. You guys have been awesome. When we have had kids get on here, it's a great way for them to kind of practice in a very safe environment, and then they can take that and go on. And we did have a successful MILTI conference last Thursday. I mentioned that we had students presenting. I had 12 students doing sessions. There were about 1,000 students from around Maine that attended from all over the state, mostly 7th and 8th graders, but there's some high school kids, some younger kids, some 6th graders and so forth. But the kids did great. Our guys represented us very well. We had one student who he had a student in his, again, remember, this is all virtual, that broke down in tears. And so we had to kind of work through it with him. That was a little stressful for Ethan. Had to deal with that, but it was a good experience overall for them to kind of learn how to do it, and it went really, really well. All right, and so with that, what we're going to do today, the first thing, let me do a quick screen share here. We're going to talk Gmail. We're talking specifically of getting your Gmail set up for this summer. Now, you don't want to do this quite yet, but you can do it anytime if you want to set that kind of vacation responder. If you're not checking your email. Now, I know there are emails that will come out over the summer, at certain points from the central office and so forth. But I still want you to know how to do this in case you want to set something up. So the first thing in my Gmail, up in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see this little gear right here. Click on that. There are some sample settings here, but I'm just going to click See All Settings. Now, one thing about Gmail, it's very customizable. I look at other people's and I always get kind of surprised at how they have theirs set up. Sometimes they don't realize they just clicked on something and it's not there anymore. But you can really, there's many, many different ways to kind of set it up. It's almost like your desktop. Like, how do you want to organize it? The best works for you. But there are a couple things on here that I think is worth sharing. One, I'm going to scroll down here. Yeah. So down at the bottom here, I'm just on the general settings. We have my signature, and we did this early in the year, but I just want to remind people, you can have multiple signatures. So let's say you have one that has a certain phrase or saying or something for parents you want to respond, or to colleagues or whatever. You can create different signatures here and have them all saved. And just kind of, as you're creating them, as you're adding them, you can choose which one you want. See right here, you'll notice that, like, if you have different signatures, which ones you want to choose. But if we keep going down beyond that, here is the vacation responder. So if I click on vacation responder, if I turn it on, I can choose the start date and the last date. So let's say if I have a certain set that I want to be gone for, I can reset that ahead of time. What is the subject? Hey, sorry, I'm not going to get your email, I'm away, or something like that. And then, of course, if you want to leave an actual message right here, you can do that so that you're able to, that's what they'll receive. Now, you can also choose, if you notice down here, only send a response to people in your contacts, or only respond to people in RSU19. So if you wanted to be able to receive emails from other people, but maybe your contacts say, hey, I'm actually at home, so if you want to get a hold of me, call me, or something like that. I don't know, whatever you may want to use that for. But that's right down here at the bottom. You do have to save the changes. Unlike a lot of Google tools, when you do make a change in here, you have to click on the bottom here and save changes, or else it won't kick in. While we're in here, while we're in the settings for Gmail, there are a couple other things that I think are really useful and worth sharing as far as using that either for the summer or just kind of in general. One is this right here, this guy right here, filter and block addresses. So if you want certain emails that come in, let's say, for example, I'm not going to save these changes here. I'm going to click on promotions. Let's say I want, anytime I get an email from, let's see, ViewSonic Education. I don't even know what that's for. This is basically spam, but ViewSonic Education. I can click on the little check beside them. And let's say every time I want to get that email, I want to either make it important or automatically go to a certain folder or delete it or whatever you want to do with it. This is the way I think of it. If you think about the old-fashioned post office box, like they show the big room down at the bottom of this big office building, and the letters would be coming down and they'd be all sorting, and people would throw them around to different slots. That's kind of what you're setting up, and so it will automatically do that for you. You can do it by individual emails. You can do it by domains, so entire emails. You can decide what you want to do. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to check this little check on the left side, click up on the 3 dots, and right here, filter messages like these. So if I get an email from this address, what do I want to do? I'm going to create a filter right here. Do I want to skip the inbox? Is it just going to archive? Am I going to delete it? Am I going to send a template? I'm going to show you how to do templates in a second. But you can have a template already set to go. So if you get an email from, maybe anybody that's not in rsu19.net, you could say, look, I don't want to, have a set response for that or whatever. You can also apply labels. So this is just an example. Let me see if I have it here. Yeah, right here. So I have a filter set up for any of the emails that you get from Paychex that shows you your stub or whatever. I basically just have a filter for any emails from that source. It just goes right to a single label over here on the left side. So I don't have to go search it around for it. It just goes in the same place. But there's a million different labels you can do. Maybe you're working on a project or from certain teachers or whatever you want, you can do that. So that was right here. If I clicked on this, click on the little 3 dots, filter messages like these. Actually, I'm already in the filter right now, so it's going to get it again. And I'll do another one. Filter messages like these, boom. Here's another thing too. So this one actually is from Maine EDU. So I probably don't want to, I don't know what that is. Filter messages like these. However, jump back 1 second. If you did want to, there we go. If you do want to put in an entire domain, so let's say you're getting bugged, you're getting spammed, and like it doesn't seem to be working, the spam catcher's not catching it for whatever reason, you can have anything from, I could say from at maine.edu. I probably wouldn't want to do that, but you could do an entire domain. So if you're getting emails from a certain place, that they would just get whatever you want them to do, or not get sorted or deleted or whatever. You can even do it if it has certain words in it. So let's say there's somebody that keeps bugging you and you keep getting emails and you want to hide them or delete them or store them or whatever. You can do that right in here as well. Just click create filter. I'm actually not going to create a filter for that one. All right. The other thing that I think is worth sharing in here, if you notice, now some people love this, some people hate this. I personally couldn't live without this now that I'm used to this way of organizing. I have different tabs here: primary, social, promotions, updates, and forums that automatically sort it for me. You can try this out. You can turn it on, try it for a while. If you like it, great. If you don't, turn it off again, and you're right back to where you were. To turn that on, if that's something you're interested in, up here on this little gear in the upper right, click on here. If I scroll down here under inbox type, I can customize it. Now, again, as I mentioned, there's a million different customizations. I would just turn these on first, see if you like it. What happens is if somebody sends you an email, if it's a social, for example, if it comes from Twitter or Facebook or some social platform, some social network, it will automatically go into the social tab. If it's a promotion, so promotion is a thing where, let's say you signed up for a catalog or signed up for some website that you do want information from them. I know, for example, my wife gets emails from Gap. She signed up for Gap, whatever, to follow, sales, that kind of stuff. She doesn't want it in her inbox, like all the time, see them all the time, but she doesn't want to be able to find them if she wants to. That's what promotion is. Sometimes I've heard this referred to as bacon. It's not spam because you signed up for it, but you don't necessarily want it in your overall inbox. These promotions. Updates, these are things like when you update, let's say on your phone, or there's a lot of like kind of functional type of things that, like, let's say you change a password, it will fall under this update folder or update tab. And finally, forums are just like they sound like. If you have like, text forums here online, that will do that. A question from Tony. Once it's labeled, does it stay in the inbox, important, etc.? Yes. So if I choose one of these, I'm going to choose this guy again. let's go to filter messages like these. Anytime I get an email from this gentleman right here, this account, I'm going to create a filter, and I'm going to say I wanted to star it. I want to apply a label. I'm going to just put it into, I don't know, follow-up. I want to mark it as important, for example. So when that email comes in from that address, all those things will happen, and they'll just stay there. So it'll actually appear in my starred, in my important, and in the folder as well, or in the label as well. One thing that's a little bit weird, and you also notice here down the bottom, it says also apply to 3 matching conversations. So if you already have received emails from that address, I can click that, and it'll go back and add those all in as well from before. Again, I don't want to do it in this case, but one thing to think about with these labels over here on the left side, they're not actually, let me hide some of this stuff. There we go. Labels are not folders. What's that mean? Well, a folder is something where, like kind of traditional file folders, I'd take a document, I'd put it in a folder, and that's where it would live. Labels is almost like a tag, where I could have a single document or a single email, and I can have it appear in multiple places. If I have an email like this, and this little icon here, I think it's supposed to be like a little sticky label. If I click on that, I can have it appear in multiple labels at once. So it'll appear in all these. Again, useful depending on what your needs are, what you're trying to do, but be helpful for that. Like is it 2 places, the filter location and the inbox location? Yes. Yep, exactly right. Yep. So Google tried this for a while with Drive. I don't know if you guys remember this for a while. Now they call them folders again. If I go to my Google Drive and over here on the left, you'll see folders. For a while, they actually called them collections. And it's a very different way of looking at it. It's not better or worse. It's just different. There are some benefits of it. The drawback of it is it can be confusing. But if I have a single document, in traditional computing, what it used to be like is I could take this Word document, right, and I drag it to this folder. There it is. I can make a copy of it in multiple places, but they would be a copy. It wouldn't be the same one in both places. So if I made a change to one, you wouldn't see it in the other one. Now, all web-based, right, basically you can have a single document that appears in multiple places. For a while, they called these collections, because that's kind of what they were, but people didn't understand it, it makes sense. So now, again, they call them folders. But if I create a new document, and we'll just do a sample here. I'm just going to move it here. All right, so I just added a blank document to this folder, I believe, right here, sample, yep. And I can, if I move to, you can actually have it appear. Let's go to a different folder. Remember what the keystroke is. It's a keystroke so that it will say add to, so it'll actually appear in both places. Just a different way of doing it. Again, it's not necessarily better or worse. It's just a very different method. All right, I think that's good. The last thing I was going to share, I did want to share this for Gmail, kind of one last pro tip, and then we'll move on to something else, is templates. So if I create a new email, for example, the email that you guys receive on Tuesdays, I actually have it auto populate so that it will just go out on Tuesdays, say, hey, this week we're going to be talking about this, this, and this, if you're interested. If I come in here and say, hello, parent, blah, 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 blah. So if I had a standard email for a response, once you create the email first, down in the lower right-hand corner right here under these 3 dots, click on that, and you can turn on templates. So what templates are, these are emails that you just want to save already to go. They don't send them out. They just add to them, and then you can make changes and you can send it as needed. Once you have the email as you want it, hello, parent. Your child is wonderful. Okay, so that's my template here. I'm going to click on the 3 dots, go to templates, save draft as template. So here's my draft. I'm going to save, create it. On the left side here, say here's a new template or overwrite the old ones. I'm going to do it as a new template. So this is my parent letter. Save. Okay. So now, I didn't put a subject in there, but you get the idea. Now if I create a new email, totally new blank one, I can click on this 3 dots, go to my templates, find, there's my parent letter that I just created, click on that, and there it is. I put my theme in twice, but there it is. So I don't have to start from scratch every time. To turn that on, if you click down on the three dots and you don't see that, you do have to go into settings. Again, we were back up here in the upper right, so I'm going to go up here to settings. Let's go to see all settings. I've got to go to, I believe it's labs, if you remember where templates were. Add-ons, nope. Just trying to remember where there's a button you have to push to turn them on. I don't remember where it is. Right here. Under advanced, under templates, you just enable that. It's kind of a one-time deal. Once you've done it, get it for good. I use them all the time. For example, I'll just show you what it looks like. So my process to get ready for, say, next week's show, if I know I have students coming or whatever, I'll click on the little three dots. We'll do template. Here is Tech PD Wednesday. So boom, it pops right up. So I can just come in and update what the topics are this week. And then click send and off you go. I also have one same idea here for the students, for my student presenters. So Tech PD student presenters, who's going to lead, who's the actual moderator this week, who's presenting, what's the topic, all that kind of stuff. So just a way to kind of save time. Cool. All right. The last question I did add in the show notes. Actually, I'll throw this right on the chat too if anybody needs it. The step-by-step tutorial. So let me click on that again. For out of office or the vacation sender. So if you want to be able to follow along and you just want a page to kind of follow along so you don't have to like memorize all that, this will walk you through exactly how to do it. One other thing that's coming up, and this is more for students, certainly for high school students, graduating seniors and such, but this might be something that you're interested in as well. If you want to transfer your data, so if you want to transfer, some Google Docs or something from one account to another. Now, there may be some questions as far as, ownership. Some of you guys have known in the past, if we've had teachers leave, their accounts stay because we may have docs that we need to share with other teachers and so forth. But if you want to transfer some of your information to your own account, and again, we want this for our seniors, right? We want our seniors to graduate, create their own Google account, move all their stuff with them so they have it, and then off they go. And we usually do. We usually go through this process. This document, I threw the link in the chat, but this document here walks you through those steps. So basically, first up, copy content from your school account to another account. It walks you through step by step. They actually give you two ways to do it. You can download your data and then re-upload it. You can do it that way. That's the long way. The reason why they do that, they have to offer that, is not all districts allow students to transfer their information out. We do. So that might be the question there. This is the way you want to do it, though, to copy it. So step one is creating your own personal Gmail account, your own Google account that you have. And then if you look right here, takeout.google.com/transfer, this walks you through. So what's your destination account? Here's a code. In the other account, you have to have a code so they know that you own that other account. It's like a 5-digit code. You type it in. You verify it. You select the contents. The important thing about that is, if you don't have to send everything. You can, but let's say you only want to do your Google Drive or Google Drive and Photos or whatever. You can pick and choose everything or pick and choose what you want. It will take a little while. It's not a 2-second thing, especially you think about students, how much data they've collected over, 10 years or 12 years. It's going to be a lot. So it might be a thing they do and just kind of forget about it, come back to it a while later. And then they'll have that data in there.